suspense.
Sometimes the sheriff's niece has to follow the trail of killers. They're dangerous men, and a girl has to be prepared for anything, but there's some varmints that are harder to track, and even a bigger problem, such as my brother Tag. Well?
Hi, Annie.
Don't hi you Annie me, young man. I've been chasing you for the past 2 miles. Now hand over that report card.
Aw, Sis.
Come on, Tag, hand it over. Where's Pixie?
Back there, in the bushes.
Well, you better get him. Uncle Luke's gonna have something to say about this.
Pretty bad, isn't it, Sis? The report card, I mean.
Yes, Tag, it was. The worst part of it was you're trying to hide it.
I thought if nobody saw it, everything'd be okay.
Oh, Tag, that's bad thinking. 2 wrongs don't make a right. They never have, and they never will.
I reckon I didn't think of it that way.
I reckon you didn't. You know, I remember someone else who didn't think of it that way one time. And they just about started a full-scale war in Diablo.
Gee, when was that?
Oh, about 2 summers ago, Tag. The year you and Uncle Luke were away on a hunting trip. I had ridden out of town to look for Lofty, who was supposed to be at the office attending to business. But I had a pretty good idea where he'd be. And when I reached Canyon Lake, I found I'd guessed right. Lofty was having such a good time while I did all the work that I decided I'd teach him a lesson.
Annie!
Leave all the work for me, will you?
Oh, Annie, have a heart, will you? Look, I'm sorry. Let me get my clothes, huh?
Okay, Lofty. Well, that certainly took you long enough. I thought it was supposed to be women that were the slow ones.
But you'd have trouble dressing, too, if somebody'd been taking pot shots at you.
Sounds like somebody else was in trouble.
It sure does.
No, don't bother about me. Howard's been shot. He's back there on the road.
Howard Bishop?
Yes. We've got to get back there right away.
Take it easy, Howard. Mr. Kenyon will be here with a carriage in a minute, and we'll get you to a doctor.
It's too late for a doctor. Annie, I want you to do something for me.
Yes, Howard.
My daughter, Priscilla, she's in college in the East. Send for her.
Daughter? But where? How do I get in touch with her?
The information is in my will. I left her everything.
Oh, please, Howard, save your strength.
Take care of her, Annie. She'll need your help. She...
can't believe it.
What happened, Mr. Kenyon?
Well, we were on our way into town to a stockholders meeting. A shot came from up there. Howard was hit and started to fall. I made a grab for him and lost the lines. And the team bolted and I lost control. Don't worry, Annie. I'll make all the arrangements about the funeral. You know, it's only thanks to you that someone isn't arranging for mine. They'll probably be sorry to hear about that.
They?
The lowland farmers.
You think they're responsible for Howard's death?
Well, I know they are. Jesse Clemens and his farmer friends threatened to use force to stop our hydraulic plans at the Yellow Rock mine.
I hope you're wrong, Mr. Kenyon. I know the farmers are worried about their land being flooded, but I can't believe Jesse's a killer.
Howard's dead, Annie. Somebody killed him or had him killed.
You mean just because he has controlling stock in the mine?
Exactly. Howard's death stops a vote on the hydraulic issue until we can settle his estate and distribute his mine stock.
Well, then he didn't tell you about his daughter either.
Daughter? What do you mean?
Well, before Howard died, he told me about a girl back east.
I never knew that Howard had married. I assumed he had no heirs.
And the people in the town don't know either. Whoever killed Howard's sure in for a surprise, because the decision about using water at the mine is in Priscilla Bishop's hands now. I sent the telegram tag. And 3 weeks later, quite a crowd was gathered to greet Priscilla Bishop. Everyone was guessing what she'd be like. But to look at Lofty that day, a person would have thought Jenny Lind herself was coming in on the stage.
Why, Lofty, I really declare.
And that getup, you look almost like a gentleman.
All right, go ahead and kid. But it isn't every day a young gal comes to Diablo. You know, come to think of it, after the stage comes in, you just might not rule the beauty roost around here anymore. Priscilla's a mighty pretty name.
Here she comes!
Whoa!
Well, you don't mean to say that all you folks came to welcome plain little me. I'm so thrilled.
Miss Bishop, I'm Annie Oakley. Welcome to Diablo.
Well, thank you, honey. The pleasure's all mine. But, oh, what's that you call me?
Miss Bishop, you are Priscilla Bishop, aren't you? The new owner of the Yellow Rock mine?
Boy, are you confused, dearie. My name's Swartz. I came to work at the saloon. But, of course, if you have a mine lying around with no owner...
I'm Priscilla Bishop, Miss Oakley.
Gloria B., an Indian.
Wow! I've been mistaken for a lot of things, but never an Indian.
I'm sorry, Miss Bishop.
I know. You weren't expecting an Indian. I'm Howard Bishop's adopted daughter.
We just weren't expecting anybody so pretty, miss.
This is Lofty Craig.
My pleasure, Miss Bishop.
Priscilla, please.
And Russell Kenyon.
How do you do?
Oh, Mr. Kenyon. Howard mentioned you in his letters. You're a large stockholder in the mine, aren't you?
The largest next to you, Priscilla. I've been looking forward to your arrival.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Get Priscilla's bags, Lofty, and I'll drive her out to her new ranch.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure, Annie.
You better leave those bags right where they are, Deputy.
What are you talking about, Frank? Why, do you work at the mine? Miss Bishop's your new boss.
That's just it, Mr. Kenyon. The way I figured, a lot of boys ain't gonna like it working for a redskin.
Why, you...
Now listen, Frank, and the rest of us. If there's anybody that doesn't like it, they can start looking for a new job.
A redskin's got no business being a boss over a white man.
One more word, mister, and you won't worry about mine and gold. You'll be digging for your teeth.
You think so?
This gentleman coat didn't fit none too well anyway, Annie.
I'm sorry if I've caused trouble.
Oh, that's no trouble, miss. It's a real pleasure to stop talk like that.
Come on, Priscilla. I'll take you on out to your ranch. Lofty, tie Target to the back of the carriage, will you?
Sure, Annie.
I'm sorry about the little mix-up, Priscilla. Those miners are a hot-headed lot. Sometimes they take a little time to get used to things. But you'll find out. They're on your side.
I hope so.
Wouldn't have to be no sides, Kenyon, if you people would give up that fool idea for getting your gold out faster than normal.
You got your nerve, Clemens. Keep your comments to yourself.
Please, Jesse. There have been enough differences for one day. Miss Bishop needs a rest. She's traveled a long way.
I reckon she does need a rest, Annie. She's got a big decision to make for such a little girl.
She won't be intimidated by you or your lowland farmer friends. Priscilla owns the controlling stock in the Yellow Rock mine now. You can bet she'll make the right decision.
I hope she does, Kenyon. I hope she does.
What's he talking about, Mr. Kenyon? What is this big decision I have to make?
It's nothing to be disturbed about, Priscilla. It's simply a matter of business. Howard made the decision before he was killed. I'm sure you'll want to carry out his plans.
Then you think that man, Jesse Clemens, killed Howard?
That's Russell Kenyon's idea. I don't think Jesse'd kill anyone.
But it does seem to make sense. If the farmers are so frightened of being flooded out.
Well, what are facts and what makes sense aren't always true, Priscilla. The truth is sometimes hard to find. You know, no one in town even knew that Howard had a daughter.
Keeping it a secret was my idea, not his. My parents were killed when I was 3 by white renegades. He took me in, adopted me, raised me as a daughter. When he settled here in Diablo, he sent me east to school.
You mean you haven't seen him in all these years?
Oh, yes. He'd come east to visit when he could.
Well, I guess I'd better get back to town and let you get acquainted with your new home.
Well, I'll be in the mining office tomorrow. I'll probably see you then.
All right, Priscilla.
Oh, Annie, is that you? Come on in. What do you want?
Just a word, miss. My name's Jesse Clemens.
Yes, I know.
What I'm going to say won't take much talking, but I want you to listen good to every word.
Are you trying to threaten me?
No, miss, I sure ain't. I just want to tell you some plain facts about what'll happen if you go ahead with hydraulic mining.
I've been told about that. The drainage water will inundate the lowland farms. Is that what you mean?
Them's fancy words, miss. But you sure heard right. It'll flood every one of us farmers out, and we don't aim to let that happen.
Even if it means another killing? And this time just an Indian?
Look, miss, I ain't one to be worrying over skin color, but I'll fight any force, white or red, that threatens to destroy my land.
Have you finished?
No, there's just one more thing you ought to get straight.
Yes.
I didn't kill Howard Bishop. Good day to you, miss.
It's very simple. Either we use water methods or we let the men go and close the mine down entirely. We just can't get enough tonnage out by hand anymore.
I realize that.
Well, it seems to me that you'd want to respect Howard's wishes. After all, he was doing it for your people.
My people?
Well, yes, yes. Howard intended to devote all the profits from the Yellow Rock mine to the Indian tribes in this area. Provide food, shelter, opportunity. All the things that the white men took away in the wars. You know how strongly Howard felt on this matter. Seems apparent after all he did for you.
The farmers, Mr. Kenyon. Their lands and their homes.
Anyone think of the Indians' lands or their homes?
No, I'm afraid not.
It's your chance to make up for it by helping them just as Howard planned.
Please, Mr. Kenyon, let me have a few more days to think it out.
Certainly. But remember, Priscilla, you can't run a business on sentiment. Someone is bound to suffer. However, you will let me know your decision as soon as possible.
Of course.
Well, did it work, Kenyon?
Yeah, she says she'll have to have a few more days to think it over.
Priscilla! Where you heading? To try and think things out, Annie. I'm afraid college didn't prepare me for making a decision that has to hurt someone. The farmers on one side and the miners on the other. I just don't know what to do.
I'm sure you'll make the right decision, Priscilla. Just give yourself plenty of time.
I'm going to.
I'd sure hate to be in her shoes.
So would I. No matter what she decides, there's going to be trouble.
Gosh, Priscilla was really in the middle, wasn't she, Annie?
She sure was, Tag. And she spent a lot of days trying to make up her mind. Naturally, she wanted to carry out Howard's plans about helping the Indians. And everything that Russell Kenyon had told her kept going over and over in her mind. Finally, she decided he was right. Someone had to be hurt. And this time, it wasn't going to be her people. And you've made up your mind you're going ahead with the hydraulic plans.
Yes, Annie, I am. I know there's going to be trouble, but I'm afraid that's the way it'll be.
Priscilla, will you come with me for a few hours? There are a lot of things I'd like to show you that might make a difference.
All right, Annie. just for you, and I'm not going to change my mind.
Well, maybe you won't, but at least give me a chance. I showed Priscilla acres and acres of farmland stretched out over the valley. And looking down, she could see the vast areas. We rode through the land that the farmers had spent their lives cultivating and talked with the men who had transformed a once barren desert into productive soil. The women, too, told us their feelings and how dreams for themselves and their children became reality with the growth of the valley. By the time we got back to the Bishop Ranch, Priscilla had changed a lot of her ideas about the lowland farmers. But it wasn't until then that I found out the one thing that still kept her from changing her mind. She told me what Kenyon had said about Indian conditions and what Howard Bishop planned to do with the mine's profits. Then you're doing this because you think it'll help your own people.
Yes. I have a chance to help the Indians. No one else is doing it.
That's where you're wrong, Priscilla. The U.S. government realizes what a great injustice has been done, and they're doing everything that they can to help them. With money, land, medical care, and food, they're doing much more than you could ever hope to do.
But Mr. Kenyon said that
He told you wrong. Everything that I've said can be proved. You can check with the Indian agents or even the tribes themselves.
I don't know, Annie. Why should
He
he
lied. Why, I don't know, but well, I intend to find out. Think it over, Priscilla. And remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Priscilla?
Good morning, Annie.
You're in town early.
Too early, I guess. Mr. Kenyon isn't in the office yet.
Oh, here, sit down.
Thank you. I came to tell him my decision. You were right, Annie. I realize that now. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I've decided not to use hydraulics, even if it means closing down Yellow Rock.
You'll gain a lot of friends by your decision, Priscilla.
Mr. Kenyon will be upset, though, but as he said, someone has to be hurt. It'll be a lot easier for the miners to find new jobs than for the farmers to clear new land and build new homes.
Mail came in, Annie. Oh, hi, Priscilla.
Hello?
Say, there's a letter here for you. I was going to run it out to the ranch.
What is it, Priscilla?
It's a letter from Howard that must have reached school after I left. They sent it back here. It was mailed the day before he was killed. Dear Priscilla, hope you're well. We are very busy here. The survey proved... I don't understand this.
What's wrong, Priscilla?
Here, Annie, read it.
The survey proved conclusively that hydraulic mining would flood the lowlands. So I've decided against it. The mine can continue to operate, though the profit would be much lower. I expect some opposition at the stockholders' meeting tomorrow, especially from Russell Kenyon, whom I've already told of my decision.
Kenyon was lying about everything.
Money is a motivation for murder for some people, Priscilla. And Howard was the only person standing in his way.
You mean Kenyon killed my father?
Had him killed, yes.
I'll bring him in, Annie.
No, wait a minute, Lofty. This letter proves him a liar, but it doesn't prove him a killer.
Proves it to me.
I know, but you're not the jury. No, we've got to find a way to get more proof. I think I know a way that we can make Kenyon show his hand. But we'll need your help, Priscilla, and it'll be dangerous.
I'll do anything, Annie.
Lofty, see if Kenyon's in his office yet.
No, it's still closed up.
Good. Sit down, Priscilla, and write what I tell you. Mr. Russell Kenyon, have reached my decision. We'll meet you at the ranch. Signed, Priscilla Bishop.
She's there like the note says, Kenyon. You sure you're going to need me again this time?
Only if she doesn't decide our way. If she does, you won't get this signal.
I still think it's a wrong move pulling the same stunt you did to get Howard Bishop.
You're paid to shoot, not to think.
All right. You're the one that's got to talk your way out of it, not me.
Come in, Mr. Kenyon.
Thanks, Priscilla. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had a little business to attend to in town. Your note said that you'd reached a decision.
Yes, that's right.
And?
And I've decided not to use hydraulics.
And you're going to let your people down in spite of Howard's wishes.
I'm afraid that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, so be it. Tell me, have you Notified anyone else of your decision?
No, no one. Why do you ask?
Well, it's only that I think that we ought to let the other stockholders know first.
Oh, that's only fair.
Then we'll ride into town if you care to.
Might as well get it over with.
Yes, we might as well. Oh, I'll ride with you if you don't mind. I can pick up my horse when we get back.
All right.
There goes our hired killer, Annie. Right according to plan.
Right into Ambush Canyon, too. All set up by Russell Kenyon. Kenyon. No sense taking a chance on another runaway, was there?
What do you mean? Well, what was all the shooting about, Annie?
That was just your plan going wrong. We've got your hired killer.
Hired killer? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Take a look.
Well, I've never seen that man before in my life.
Save your breath, Kenyon. Your boy here talked. Said you hired him to kill Howard Bishop. You're all through.
You can't prove it.
I think you better get on the ground, Kenyon. You're less trouble down there.
Actually, he didn't say a word, Kenyon. He's too full of water. Your plan worked real fine, Annie.
Thanks to Priscilla.
I'll have to admit I was a little nervous.
Let's get back, Lofty, and tell the people the mine's going to operate as usual, without the water that'll ruin the lowland farm.
Yeah. I think some of the folks are going to want to come around and apologize to their new neighbor. Keep them covered, Annie. I'll get the horses.
Gosh, Annie, that was quite a story. Now I see what you mean about two wrongs not making a right.
That's why I told it to you, Tag. But I've still got to show your report card to Uncle Luke. Hey, Tag, did you see what I did with that card?
Sure, you put it in your pocket.
Yeah, but it's gone.
Yeah, it fell out way back in the road. I was so interested in your story, I plumb forgot to tell you about it.
Forgot? Why, you little Kyle.
Oakley hits the entertainment bullseye every week with her hard riding. Straight shooting. And suspense.
Annie, old Mrs. Randall wants to see you.
What?
Yeah, no fooling. I was all riding past her ranch, and her cousin Gladys came out to tell me.
Why should she want to see me?
I don't know. She used to know your mother, didn't she?
Sure, but, gee, she hasn't been out of that house or seen anyone but Gladys for the past 12 years.
Gladys said it was urgent.
Can I go with you, Annie?
You know how Mrs. Randall feels about men.
He's not a man, he's just a boy.
Well, I'm gonna be a man.
Well, that'd be enough for her. If I'm not back before lunch, there's ham in the icebox.
What's Mrs. Randall got against men?
Well, it's rather a long story, Tag. First of all, her husband ran off and left her, and then her daughter eloped with a man she didn't approve of.
That wasn't my fault.
Oh, now you're being logical. You ought to know by now you can't be logical about women.
Hello, Miss Gladys.
Oh, it's you, Annie.
Lofty said Mrs. Randall wanted to see me.
Yes. Come in. Frances is in her room. We live mostly in the kitchen and the bedrooms now.
What's this all about?
She'll tell you. I don't want to be accused of interfering.
Come in.
Annie's here to see you.
Gladys, isn't this your day to go to market?
I've already hitched up the buggy.
Well, don't let us detain you. Come here, my dear. I want to look at you closely.
Have you been ill, Mrs. Randall?
I've been like this for months. You're a very pretty girl. I hope you're not making a fool of yourself over some male.
No, not yet.
Good. I want you to do something for me, Annie.
I'd be glad to.
12 years ago, when my daughter Mary eloped with that English carnival man, I shut myself up in this house and pretended she was dead. I don't have to pretend anymore. She died 2 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Randall.
I had a letter from Mary's daughter telling me about it.
Mary's daughter?
Yes. I've been a grandmother all these years and didn't even know it. She named the child Frances after me.
Where's the child now?
She'll arrive by tomorrow's stage. I've been out of touch with things for so long, Annie. I'll need help.
I'll be glad to do anything I can, Mrs. Randall. And I'm sure that Gladys will be able to help.
Oh, she hates the child.
Why should she hate a child she's never seen?
Because I'm rich, and she expected to inherit every penny of it. Now I have a granddaughter.
What is it you want me to do?
Will you meet the stage tomorrow and bring Frances here?
Oh, of course.
Thank you, Annie. This means a great deal to me. It's almost as if the Lord was giving me another chance.
Come in.
Gladys, I thought I told you not to come here.
Oh, please, Al, I must talk to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. It's just that as long as the old lady's alive, we can't take these chances.
I know. Al, when you asked me to marry you, was it because you loved me, or was it because you knew I'd inherit money?
Well, it's because I love you, of course. Why, what's the trouble?
Frances's death isn't going to solve anything.
Why not?
She has a granddaughter.
What?
After all these years, it seems that I'm not the nearest of kin. The child inherits everything.
Where is this granddaughter now?
She gets in tomorrow. Al, I don't know what to say.
Suppose the child doesn't arrive.
What do you mean?
Suppose there's an accident or something.
Al, we couldn't do a thing like that.
Don't look so shocked after all. You're more than willing to help Cousin Frances on her way, aren't you?
Frances is a hateful old woman who'd be better off dead, but an innocent child, how can you even think of such a thing?
I'm thinking of you.
All I want is to marry you and get away from this dreadful place. I don't care about the money.
Gladys, we can't live on love.
Frances keeps over $2,000 in her rooms.
I'll take that if you want.
I'll think about it.
I'm sorry things have turned out so badly.
So am I. You better run along now. I have another appointment.
Are you angry with me?
No. No, you just have to get out of here and let me go back to work. We'll talk about this later. Stu. Stu! What do you want? Get hold of Tulsa. I've got a job. It's going to take two of you to do it.
Hold your fire. Don't shoot. I'm not packing a gun.
You keep him covered anyway. All right, everybody out of there. Come on, with your hands up. All right, you heard me. Come on, get off the floor and get down there. Come on, climb down.
Yes, sir.
Where are the rest of the passengers?
There aren't any others.
Ain't you supposed to be carrying a gal this trip?
Not that I know of.
The boss must have gotten the signals crossed.
That's great.
Let's make it look like a real holdup. Throw down that stong box. Come on, move.
Hold up.
You stay here, Tag.
The Oakley girl.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Well, do you always get advance notice when there's going to be a holdup?
I just rode out to meet one of your passengers.
Well, the only one I'm carrying is a 10-year-old kid.
That's the one. Don't be frightened, Francis. The shooting's all over.
I wasn't frightened. What's the matter?
I'm sorry. I was expecting somebody else.
You knew my name.
Your name?
You called me Francis, didn't you?
You're Francis?
Francis Kruger. I'm on the way to my grandmother's.
Holy Toledo.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I thought that... Well, I mean, your grandmother thought... Look, I'm Annie Oakley, a friend of your grandmother's.
How do you do, Miss Oakley?
I've done a lot better. Look, Francis, your grandmother...
You sure surprised those guys, Annie.
And I've got a surprise for you. Tag, this is Francis Kruger.
How do you do? Huh?
You must excuse us, Francis. There was a little mix-up on your name. Oh, we thought you were going to be a girl.
A girl?
We'll explain it to you on the way to your grandmother's. You and Tag can ride double on Pixie.
Wait a minute, Annie. I wouldn't be caught dead with anybody in a dude outfit like that.
Now, you listen to me, Tag Oakley. It's going to be bad enough when Mrs. Randall finds out he's a boy without your complicating things.
Suppose somebody sees me.
You'll survive. Now, go on. I want to talk to Jim.
All right. Get on. I'm afraid I don't know how. What? I've never been on a horse. This is even worse than I thought.
Come in. Well, where is she? Wasn't she on the stage?
Francis will be here in a minute, Mrs. Randall. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute.
Why? Is anything wrong with the child?
Oh, no, not as far as I'm concerned.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I just mean that you have certain prejudices that...
Just what are you trying to say?
Francis isn't a girl, Mrs. Randall. He's a boy.
A boy?
Oh, I'm sure if you'll give yourself a chance...
Send him away.
Send him away?
That's right.
But you can't do that. He's your grandson.
I'm not going to have what's left of my life ruined by another selfish, ungrateful male.
Oh,
he's only a boy.
So was my husband, only a boy once. And that other creature who stole my daughter away. I don't want to see him. Tell him to go away. I don't want to see him.
You'll have to tell him yourself.
What?
You told me yesterday, Mrs. Randall, that the Lord was giving you another chance. Well, if you're going to turn him down, you'll have to do it yourself.
Come back here. Don't you dare.
All right, Francis. Francis, this is your grandmother.
How do you do? I'm sorry you've been ill.
Why didn't you tell me you were a boy?
I thought you knew. In my letters, I spelled my name with an I, not with an E.
Oh.
Does it make so much difference?
It makes a great deal of difference.
I'm sorry.
You don't look a thing like your mother. You look like your father.
Thank you.
No, I didn't mean that as a compliment.
But it is. Father was a wonderful man.
Oh. Francis, your grandmother has something to tell you. Haven't you, Mrs. Randall?
Why, yes,
Don't be embarrassed. You don't want me, do you?
You wouldn't be happy here living with two old women. It isn't right.
You're my grandmother.
I'll make arrangements to send you to some boarding school. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
If that's what you want.
I'll pay all your expenses and give you an allowance and all that.
Thank you very much.
Don't thank me. And now I'm just a little tired, if you don't mind.
Of course. Come on, Francis. We'll see your grandmother later.
Goodbye, Grandmother. It's been nice meeting you.
Goodbye.
She didn't like me, did she?
She will. Just give her a little time.
How'd she take it?
About the way I expected. Tag, why don't you take Francis outside and show him some of your rope tricks?
Well, I know one I'd like to show him.
Tag.
Oh, all right. Come on, Francis.
I guess Tag told you about the holdup.
Yes, it must have been dreadful.
Well, it might have been a lot worse. Jim said they were looking for a little girl.
Little girl?
Yes. Did you tell anyone in town that Mrs. Randall's granddaughter was arriving on the stage?
I know, Oh, no.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just felt a little faint, that's all.
I hope that's all. And I also hope that Francis doesn't have any more narrow escapes.
Tag! You want Eddie?
I've got to run into town and see Lofty. Stay here and keep an eye on Francis.
Does he need a nursemaid?
Just do as I say.
All right, Annie.
So long, Francis. See you this afternoon.
Goodbye, Miss Oakley.
Annie, you must be off your rocker. Miss Gladys, well, she just isn't the type.
Well, who else do you think would benefit if anything happened to the boy?
Can you honestly picture Miss Gladys hiring thugs to kill anybody?
No, I can't. But you should have seen her face when I told her about it. She's mixed up in this some way.
I don't believe it. No, she may be a frustrated, unhappy old maid, but, oh, she's as harmless as...
Wait a minute. Look across the street. She sure didn't waste any time getting into town.
Why would she be going to see Al Proctor?
The only reason the boy is alive is because your men were looking for a girl.
My men? Gladys, I don't know anything about this.
Except for Annie, nobody else knew Francis was on the stage.
That doesn't prove anything.
I think it does.
Look at me. Do you really believe I'd lie to you?
I think you've lied all along. About loving me, about the money not being important, about everything.
All right, maybe I did lie about the holdup, but that's the only time I've ever lied to you. You've got to believe that.
So you did try to kill Francis.
Gladys, you spent half your life slaving for that old lady. I couldn't stand by and watch the child cheat you out of things that are rightfully yours.
I see.
I only did it because I love you. That's the truth.
You're very clever, aren't you? You knew I didn't care two pins about the money. You were all I ever wanted.
Where are you going?
To the sheriff.
No. You're going to stay right here.
Are you out of your mind?
Stu, Tulsa. Someday, when you're a wealthy woman, you're going to thank me for this.
What are you going to do?
What do you want, boss?
I want you to take her in the other room and tie her up.
What are you going to do?
Little Frances is going to have an accident.
You'll hang for murder.
If there's any talk of murder, you're the one to hang. You have the motive, the most to gain. Besides, I have those letters, the ones you wrote about doing in the old lady.
I never meant that.
That's not the way the letters read.
I must have been out of my mind. I was blinded by my love for you and you...
Take her out.
How do you know she won't go to the sheriff? Afterwards, I mean.
It's simple. Once we get rid of the boy, she'll do what I say.
You sure?
She keeps her mouth shut, she gets half the old lady's money. If she gives us any trouble, I'll see that she hangs. Let's get out of here.
There's Proctor.
Yeah, they're heading somewhere in a mighty big hurry. Stay here and keep an eye on the office. I'm going over there.
Holler if you need help.
Howdy, Stu.
Proctor's not here.
I'm looking for Miss Randall.
Well, I ain't seen her.
Oh, that's funny. Buggy's outside. Could have sworn I saw her come in here.
Well, maybe she just passed through here to go out the back way.
Yeah, maybe she did. What's that?
I don't know.
Maybe we better find out.
Oh, no, you don't.
Save him. Here, keep him covered until Lofty comes.
Hurry as fast as you can.
I'll make a bargain. You teach me how to ride a horse, and I'll teach you to wrestle. You'll teach me? I didn't mean to sound like that, but... Well, my father was a wonderful athlete, and he taught me a lot of things. Such as what? It's a little hard to explain. I'd have to demonstrate. Look, suppose you try to throw me. You trying to be funny? No, quite serious. Come ahead. All right, remember, you asked for it. You're not hurt, are you? No, my foot must have slipped. Let's try it again. Oh, say, you're pretty good.
Well, what's surprising about that? He's my grandson. He ought to be good.
Did you really mean that?
Of course I meant it. Now go on, both of you. I want to enjoy the view, and I don't want it cluttered up with boys.
Do you have another horse in the barn, Mrs. Randall?
There's old Nellie. Why?
I promised him I'd teach him to ride. Come on, I'll race you to the barn. We need a saddle. Hey, that must be the tack room here.
Boss, the kid's right in there. Look.
Yeah. He's all by himself.
You and I are going to be good friends, aren't we, Nellie?
Don't make a sound, son. I'm warning you.
Who are you?
Never mind. Just do what I say.
It'll do. Mr. Proctor, what do you...
Shut up, Tay. Get in there inside that horse.
Yes, Mr. Proctor.
Hurry up. Looks like we're going to have a double accident.
Where do we take him?
Up to the old mine. Kids can get killed playing with dynamite.
Out in the barn. Why?
Put your hands up.
Annie, I'm sorry.
It's all right, Tag. Nobody's gonna get hurt.
You seem mighty sure of yourself. Get a gun.
It's no use, Proctor. Gladys talked, and there's probably a posse on their way here right now.
You're lying.
If I'm lying, then how did I know about Gladys?
Boss, what can we do?
Well, if you've got any sense at all, you'll put those guns down and give yourselves up.
I don't give up that easily.
Keep her covered. Where you going?
We're gonna make a run for it. We'll need that cash the old lady keeps in the house.
Watch out! Don't move!
Keep them covered, Tag, while I go after Proctor. All right, Proctor, let's go back and meet that posse. Come on.
And that's the whole story. I'm so ashamed. I don't know how I could have believed him, even listened to him.
You're not to blame, Gladys. I've been a stubborn old fool. You had every reason to hate me.
You mean you're not going to have me arrested?
What for? You helped save the boy's life.
Besides, I couldn't get along without you.
May we come in? We have something we'd like to show you.
Do you like it?
Why, you're a regular cowpoke.
You look fine, boy.
There's only one thing wrong. I don't think you'll be able to wear this in a boarding school.
He's not going to any boarding school.
I'm not?
You're staying right here with your old granny if you want to.
Oh, Granny!
I'd say this is a real happy ending. Good night, folks.